Hãy like, đăng ký và chia sẻ nhé bạn. Trung tâm Ngoại ngữ Ngọc Vân chúc bạn một ngày vui vẻ.
I love traveling.
When you often go in summer?
Originally, when I started traveling when I was younger with Mrs. Kathy, we would go local, and then we started traveling abroad, which means out of the country. We would go to the Caribbean, the islands, and but after a while we got tired of that, and I think it was about 8 years ago we took our first trip to China. And then 7 years ago, at this time, we took a trip to Vietnam. But yeah, we love traveling now. And we like the local experience, not the tourist experience. Good question. Yes? That's it? One question?
Confident about yourself? Ask the question.
Come on,
Just
ask the question. I'm picking on you. Did you travel during Tet holiday? Who traveled during Tet holiday? Put your hand up. I did. You did. Who else did? You did. You did. I know you did. I went to Phan Rhi and I went to Dalat during Tet. Where did you go? Where did you travel to?
I went to
No, don't laugh. Because remember, when you're learning a language, I just did it at the coffee shop. It's hard to translate English into Vietnamese and then think of what you're going to say in Vietnamese and translate it back into English. Because I was at the coffee shop and my Vietnamese teacher taught me cafe, ganda, come, doom. I'm not getting the last one, so I know I have to practice. So don't laugh if somebody is hesitating. This is where it's okay to make mistakes. And instead of laughing, if you know the answer, help them out, right? Help each other out. Because I know your teacher will help you out. Yeah, because I see her older classes, and boy, can they ever go blah, blah, blah. So in a couple of years, I'm sure if you have your teacher, same teacher, you'll be all going blah, blah, blah. Where'd you travel?
I traveled to my grandparents' house.
Yes, excellent. Yeah, who traveled to the grandparents' house? Yeah, we all traveled. Who stayed in Phan Rang? Yeah, but did you go around town? Yeah, so you traveled. How long does it take to go from Vietnam to Australia? Travel. Vietnam to Australia. How long?
4 hours.
Yeah, about 4 hours. How long does it take to get to Vietnam to Canada? Yes?
2 days.
Yeah, sometimes 2 days, sometimes up to 48 hours. What Mrs. Kathy and I do, there is no direct flight from Toronto to Vietnam. So we will get a night flight so we can sleep. Because the first flight from Toronto to like Taiwan or South Korea or China is 13 hours. Then we have about what they call a layover, where you have to stay in the airport. You get off the plane, you stay in a waiting area for other flights. Then you board the plane again. Then another 5 hours to get to Ho Chi Minh. So what we do now when it comes to travel is we were originally flying into Saigon or Ho Chi Minh and then taking a 6-hour train ride to get here. But we learned, okay, it costs a little bit more money, but we fly in to Ho Chi Minh, then we get a connecting flight to Nha Trang. Then we hire a taxi to drive us here. Much quicker and more comfortable. Yeah, good. How do you like to travel? That's the other thing. We got time, teacher?
Oh.
Oh, we got lots of time. How do you travel? He traveled by plane, You guys travel by motorbike. How else can you travel? I just said what? What's an easy way to get from Ho Chi Minh to Phan Rang? How can you travel? Yes?
By bus.
By bus. Some people call it coach, right? And especially you can see those sleeper seats. Mr. Dan's too big for those seats.
Yes, that's right.
That too. Did you see me? Good. I didn't see you either. Okay. Where did you travel to? Huh? And how did you travel there? By plane, yeah. I had to rent a motorbike to go to Phan Rang and also Dalat. How did you go to your grandparents? How did you travel?
I travel by motorcycle.
By motorcycle. How did you travel? Yeah, because a lot of people I ask, because that road is very dangerous, isn't it? When Mrs. Kathy and I were coming to Ho Chi. Yes.
By motorbike.
Yeah, motorbike, but they say it takes a long time to drive. And when you're on the big highway with all the trucks, very dangerous, right? You have to be careful, right? Or, like I said, you can get a ride to Nha Trang, then fly to Ho Chi Minh. And I know other expats that do that too, because it saves time and it's more comfortable. One more other way. You got the big coach bus, but how about the special travel vans too, right? Because I've taken those travel vans to Nha Trang before, yeah, and also to Dalat, right? They're like tour buses, but they're smaller ones. Yeah. Who has been on an airplane? You have. You have. Does anybody have? I was 19 years old before I got to go on my first airplane. So generally, it doesn't happen until you're a young adult. Yeah, and it's kind of neat. But now, with travel and COVID, where the airlines were closed for a long time, just like everything, now the flight prices have increased dramatically. So it's very expensive to fly. But in Vietnam, it's pretty cheap to fly locally in your own country. So yeah, I know lots of people that fly from Hanoi to Ho Chi Minh to Da Nang, and I've flown to all those places too. Any questions on that? Like the big city, too busy. Okay, who wants to travel in the future? Yeah. Okay, I have been to the USA, I have been to Mexico, I have been to the Caribbean numerous times, I have been to China 3 or 4 times, I've been to Thailand 3 times or 4 times, I've been to Vietnam 3 times, I've been to Bali, I've been to Malaysia, Bali, yeah, so I've been lots of places. And the next place I want to go is the Philippines. So, where do you want to travel to?
I want to travel to Thailand.
Thailand. Oh, it is beautiful. I make delicious Thai food. Where do you want to travel?
I want to go to Korea.
Korea. South Korea, right? Yeah. Why?
Because it's very beautiful.
You don't want to see BTS? Okay. Good. Yeah, no. I want to go there someday too. I've only ever been to their airport. Yeah. They say Busan is beautiful. Yeah. Where would you like to travel to?
I want to travel to Korea too.
Korea too. Okay. How about you?
I want to go to
Korea. Maybe you could all go together. And you get a cheaper deal. Where would you like to travel?
Where you want to go?
If you had lots of money. Beijing. Well, if you travel to Beijing, you tell me, because my best friend lives in Beijing, and he is like me, and I will arrange for him to be your free tour guide, okay? So it will cost you nothing, and he will show you around Beijing. Okay? Deal? Where would you like to travel?
I want to travel Canada.
Canada, I like you. Actually, it's funny because there is a student at iSchool that just got her acceptance letter to go to international school in Toronto, Canada. And Mrs. Kathy and I will help her now because we like to be kind, and we will meet her and help her set up her living in Canada. Yeah. Yes, where would you like to travel? Singapore, yeah. They say, I just talked to a Vietnamese student, he's in grade 11 at TED, he traveled to Singapore by himself. And he said, it's very beautiful, very modern, but there's many high rises because there's not a lot of land. So, and very modern because of all the electronics and that, because of the lack of land. Yeah. Where would you like to travel?
To visit my grandfather.
Beautiful. Yes, yes. Many people in Vietnam have family who have immigrated to another country. I have Vietnamese friends in Canada, and there is a whole Vietnamese community in Canada. And actually, last month, my friend from Canada was actually in Da Nang visiting her parents and house. Yeah, good. Where would you like to travel? Thailand? What would you like to do in Thailand? Do you want to see the elephants in Chiang Mai, or do you want to go to South Thailand and see the beautiful blue water? And eat the food? Food, yeah. Where would you like to travel? What's he saying? I'm sorry.
Dalat.
Dalat? Yeah. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with traveling local. I did it for years. And in my country, there's a big part of my country I haven't even traveled to. But the world is so big, we've fallen in love with Asia. So after Vietnam, we're probably going to retire when we stop teaching in Thailand. So we'll live 6 months in Thailand and 6 months in Canada. Yeah. Where would you like to travel to?
I want to travel to England.
England? Why?
Because I want to see the museum there.
Ah, it's a museum. Yeah. Well, I thought maybe you were a footballer. Lots of guys want to go to England to see their football team. Where would you travel to? I'm sorry? Scotland. Wow. Very wide. The land is beautiful in Scotland. My one grandfather is from Ireland. So I have two of my grandparents are from England. One of my grandparents is from Ireland, and the other grandparent is from Germany. Yeah. So I'm a big mix. I'm not pure anything. I'm Canadian. And that's what Canada is. It is where many people have immigrated from different countries, including Vietnam. And then after generation and generation, a Vietnamese person might marry a white person, and so. And the different cultures mix. And then when you have two different people from different cultures and they have children, you call them mixed. Yeah. How about you? Where would you travel?
Russia.
Russia. Why? You want to drink vodka? It's cold in Russia. Yeah, you like the hat? Yeah, the fur hat. Yeah. I have a friend who is German, and when he went over to Europe, he got one of the hats like the Russians for taking luggage on the plane. So unless you have an international flight, which costs more money then you can bring the big suitcases. So Mrs. Kathy and I, we brought 2 big suitcases because we were moving to Vietnam for 2 years. But we learned that we're not using the stuff, which is usual. You pack too much, unless you go to Delat, you need a lot of warm clothes. Women, you guys do, not me. But yeah, so generally we'll try and pack just a carry-on, and then it doesn't cost, we don't have to wait for the luggage to be unloaded. Yeah, so it just depends where you go to how much you pack. When we went to Dalat, just Mrs. Kathy and I just had a backpack each. But if I went to Thailand, just a small carry-on bag or suitcase. Yeah, good question. Next. Yes.
When you visit a new place, what do you like to do?
Like I said, when I visit a new place, what do I like to do? Before I visit the new place, I go on travel blogs, and one I go on most is couchsurfing.com, and I meet local people. I say, hey, I'm Dan, I'm traveling to your city, would you like to get together? Okay, I am a couch surfer in Canada. I have allowed many tourists from Europe, and one person from Japan, and one person from Iran to come and stay at my house. And they stay for free. And in turn, I take them around, and one day I might be able to travel to their country and stay at their place for free, or they will meet me, say in Phan Rang, and they'll take me around all the local places. Then I'm not paying money for a tour guide or have to go on a tour. Yeah, so and you get the real side of the city or the place you go visit when you meet a local. And then the bonus, you have more friends. So 8 years ago, when I started traveling internationally, I met a man in China, Beijing, and his name was Daniel. He's now one of my best friends. We talk every day. Yeah. He learned English because he's my age. He's 2 weeks older than me. He learned English. He didn't have the internet like you guys do today to listen to music and watch shows and everything. He had to buy CDs of English music, and he learned that way. So he doesn't call his English English because he's Chinese. He calls it Chinglish. It's not that great, but I can still understand.